I decided to turn the headset down by 1 decibel, because there's way too much heavy breathing in these. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't think I noticed that in the only other of the Let's Plays that I've done since getting this new headset, that the breathing was too heavy. The only game that is being Final Fantasy. Now this one's tricky because you gotta manage the fuel, and I assume it's better to get the fuel at the last second because it completely fills it. But if you completely fill it before it's all the way close to the empty, then that would mean that you don't get as much buck for your mile, or whatever you'd call it, I guess. Although, maybe it doesn't completely refill it. I think there's another one of these, because we're already at the halfway point, and so far I don't think it's as challenging as it could be. Of course, I could be wrong, and maybe they just artificially make it only last the amount that it would last at that particular segment. Oh, slow down. Well then. I guess I should probably get rid of that tire, because I think it just got in our way eventually. It would have been a nice extra boost, but I think it just got in the way. Okay, and that one's just worth 3, so I guess as long as you're no more than 3 full, then it doesn't matter when you get it. Oh, fiddlesticks. And I don't think it drains if it isn't moving, so that's nice. Okay, that makes things a bit tricky. I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Maybe they'll... Oh. Do we still lose a life, though? Because we didn't technically die. Stupid game. We didn't technically die. We shouldn't lose a life. I guess you should play Diddy, though. So that your hitbox isn't so freaking large. Yeah, I hear you. Diddy's is particularly annoying. I'm just thinking about that now. Maybe it's because I'm irritable right now. That might not be good. Oh, fudge. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. We don't need it. Oh, that was good. If I do say so myself. Some of these are kind of redundant. Like, you don't actually have to get those fuels right there. If you don't, Well, I mean... Oh. They really should put that barrel later on. Because it's more like a trick than anything. To get it so much earlier. Yeah, these guys are mincers, alright. I wonder if he can survive these, can't he? Never mind. Oh, DK, you said automatically ride him if you run into him. Oops. No, I'm getting that O. Ooh. 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 DK's jump animation is really cool. It's very monkey-like, and it's full of energy and power. Because he's moving his limbs around so much. Well, that didn't do anything. Not really. Oop, that was good. That didn't do anything. What? Okay. So, Diddy just can't do anything about those, but Donkey has to jump on them. Yay! Yeah, I'm not falling for that. Can we try that again? Yay. Oh, fiddlesticks. Diddy. You could just follow me if you're going to be right at the edge of the level. That could have been bad. Nope. I see. So you can blow those up. That's what those are for. Hold it. Nothing. Guess I may as well. Oh, never mind. Is there something up in that top left corner? Oh, good job, Donkey Kong. Your backswing made us swing backwards in our progress. Hold it. Oh, what? Now I kind of need those lives. What? Anything down here? We've never really talked to Chunky, have we? Oh. I see. They really don't make a big deal about you dying from a cliff. Like, there's no music or anything. It's just you die, and it's just a pop. You fudge butt! Loopy lights. These lights don't deserve a spot in my deck, but they might make a good coaster for my drink. Well, at least we can use that knowledge to our... What?! Oh, that was a mistake. That was on me. Is it worth going for that K, though? I guess so. I'll switch to Diddy after this, though. That way we can actually jump. In the name of love. What?! This hitbox isn't as good, though. What?! So, is there going to be like one more level before that last boss, before the final boss? I'm pretty sure that that is the last boss. Like, I wasn't sure if this was the final area, but now that I'm looking at it, I seem to associate that area with being the, probably, I think, the hardest boss. I think it's harder than K. Rool. Oh, what? Aha. That's okay. What? Now that is not okay. What? Where'd the NZ go? N. Haha. Those bananas tipped me off to your tricks. You know what? Let's go to Candy Save Point. I don't know if this is... I know this isn't the first game with a saves feature, but it might have been the first my dad ever saw, because whenever I'd play this, he'd always... Well, he got used to Candy's save point, and then whenever we needed to go somewhere, do something, he'd say, now go to Candy's save point, even when it wasn't Donkey Kong Country. That was just his word for any time you needed to save. Again, I don't know if it was because he'd never, you know, played games that had save points, because he was like playing Atari and stuff. I assume DK could kill those in one shot with the roll anyway. Maybe he can slam a jam him like this. I wonder if he can't kill the bees with this banana slammer move, can he? He can kill them, though. What? Banana slammer. It's not complicated. Why do you even bother? What's going on here? That killed the bee. That's a stupid. How was I supposed to know we needed to land on that? It is cool how Diddy and DK have their own, like, uses. Like that one level where Diddy couldn't get that, I think it was the N or something. You can't switch on this plane because it isn't flat enough. But anyway, but Donkey Kong could get it. And that's not normally something you think of, that where Donkey Kong can do something outside of maybe, you know, killing stronger enemies, or more defensive, maybe you should say. Speaking of which... Well, that was bollocks. Why am I playing as Diddy? Oh well. Oh dear. Now that's just asinine. That's a trap. That barrel doesn't help you if you're DK, and you'd have to know he's there to throw the barrel at him to begin with, because otherwise you're just going to bump into him. What? Now I can't do anything about him. I'm gonna have to remember to throw the barrel over to the left. This is such bollocks. let's see what Cranky has to say. One last time, I believe. When I was a lad. We were much better off in those days as well. Better off. But you thought this was 64-bit, eh, boy? Wow, there is a lot of animation on Diddy's tail there. 32 meg? That would be more than 30 games in my day, and they'd be great games too. A leap of faith is all it takes to keep barrel cannon. They'd be great games too. If you roll attack a baddie, your speed increases when you hit the next one. I gotta go now. I'll see you guys later if you're lucky. Well, we should be able to at least fight this guy. I think I got him down though. Oh, fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks! Wait, that was it? Well, am I gonna do that thing I've been doing where I only do the last thing last in the, I save it for itself, and then there's a whole bunch of time where they're, like, is it gonna be another 10-minute episode? No, these have mostly been like 30 minutes. I should probably just go ahead and do it. Do we jump over him? He looks over the camera like, am I supposed to be doing this right? Is that okay, Mommy? Whoa, I think he's getting faster. Is that okay, Mommy? Is he gonna throw his crown now? Yes. Oh. See, this is almost in particular what I was talking about earlier when I say I just redo it over and over again. So I just kind of memorized this guy completely because I played him like 100 times. I'm having a much harder time of it than I used to because now it's still kind of a surprise what he's going to do. But back in those days, I'd be like, yeah, I know exactly what he's going to do and exactly when he's going to do it and how he's going to do it. We'll see how I do in the the post-credits fight. Coding. It's probably the best one. The Commander. Assuming I'm going to beat him at all. It's too bad it couldn't have been with DK. Oops. Yeah, I thought he would do that 3 times rather than just twice. So that's a bummer. It's gonna do that twice? Yeah. This fight gets kind of redundant. That's why well... think I'm beginning to get my sea legs back, though. Oh, that can still hit you on the second when it hits the ground again. It doesn't do that the second time. Ugh. There we go. Well, that was still a pretty close one. Oh, good grip. Oh, that's sweet. At least it didn't take me too long. I'll have to see if I beat the record. Yeah, who cares? Remember the disappointed Kong meme? That was a thing for a while. So yeah, back when we got the SNES, I think this must have been one of the first games. Well, it wasn't a newcomer, but maybe it wasn't quite the oldest one, because there was a time when it was the new game, you know, and that's when I started playing it like mad, to the point where my sister locked it in this toy thing, because she was getting annoyed by how often I was trying to beat it, and just seeing the same thing over and over again, and she thought she hid it in this really secret place, but to me it was actually extremely obvious. Like, if you're gonna hide something, it's gonna be right there. So I found it really quickly. But anyway, so yeah, it's weird. It's like you think you played it a whole bunch in order to get to the point where you beat the game, and then you just keep playing it again even after you've beaten it, and then the time it took to beat it the first time, it actually, even though it felt like it was a whole bunch, it actually isn't as much as once you go and beat it again and again. You can still keep playing it for just as much, or for longer. I'm a little shaky on those details, actually. I don't know how much more I played this other than the first time I beat it. Although, like I said, I did go back and beat K. Rool a whole bunch, because I always feel the most accomplished in beating the final boss, so it feels almost redundant to play the whole game again. At some point that opinion changed. It became more about the journey than the ending. I'm not sure when that is, though. Maybe in the Wii era? Oh, Espresso, Rambi, On Guard. Yeah, they kept using Winky's name all over the place. Did they do the other one yet? I must have missed it. The ostrich must have been like the first turn. Is it my turn yet? We never talked to him. This candy save point. Wonder why he sounds more like a chimp. I mean, it's pleasant sounding. if they went for another sound, it might have been more natural, but maybe less friendly isn't quite the term for it, but kinda. It just sounds kinda nice, even though Donkey Kong should probably sound, and it took less than an hour, should probably sound less high-pitched. Sutherland. Right now I'm actually just reading the credits, trying to figure out what exactly these jobs are. I think they're kinda archaic, maybe? Maybe it's just... I mean, well, for starters, I don't think they quite do as many credits as they do now. Like, I mean, maybe they just had fewer programmers back then, but, you know, they could do the whole game with fewer people, maybe, back then. Oh, there's Mr. Yamauchi. Oh. So either they're not showing really everybody who worked on the game, and it's just kind of like some of the more important people. I mean, everyone was important, but, you know, like maybe the head programmer, but maybe not every programmer. Either that, or it just didn't take as many people to make back then, whereas now, if you make a game, I mean, maybe you could make it like a... If you were to make Donkey Kong Country today, and you made it exactly the same way back then, for starters, I wonder how people would think about it. I mean, for today's standards, it's kind of short, but hard. So could you make a hard and short game now and get away with it? Like, would they treat it like, yeah, okay, fine, we see what you were going for, and that's fine? Or would they say you're just trying to be nostalgic, and it would get a poor grade? I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, it looks like I beat my record by 7 minutes. No, not 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. I was thinking 14 and then 7, so 7 and 7 is 14, but this is 14 to 21, so it's more like 7 times 3, and the 14 is more like 7 times 2. So anyway, so yeah, that's Donkey Kong Country. I didn't get as many percentage. I wonder if I should erase that file eventually, or keep it as keepsake, because it was the first Let's Play, and this was the first time I played on this system, and then the third one is just going to be the one that I can keep doing over, because I'm not going to assume somebody else is going to play this system. So yeah, that was just kind of a short one to give me some time to figure out what I want to do for, like, maybe a longer project, or I'll just keep doing some short SNES games. I think I decided I will do Star Fox 64 before doing the older Star Fox game on you know, this hardware, but I'd have to get the proper headset for that, and I'm waiting to do that. So let's see. I probably will just keep doing some NES and SNES games. I mean, that's pretty cool. Let's see. What nostalgic games would I do in that case? Anyway, I'm not going to do the same thing as I did in Final Fantasy and go for like 10 minutes about it. So yeah, this will go up like every 2 or 3 days. I mean, I have it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so it just means it's every other day skipping weekends. So every other day on the weekday. So that'll last a little longer than it would if it was just every day. If it was every day, well, let's see, this is part 6, so this wouldn't even last a week. So it'll give me some breathing room. I wasn't sure if this would take longer or about this much time, and I guess it took about this much time, which I'm actually glad, because if it took longer, then that means I wouldn't be all that good at it. I mean, I know I'm not great at it compared to some people, but there are people, I think a lot of people consider the game to be harder than what it took. So I do feel nice about that. So anyway, that's Donkey Kong Country. I'll figure out what to play next soon, but until then, I've been Ice Physics, and as usual, see you then.